Cornwall's mining legacy is as captivating as it is complex. The UNESCO World Heritage Site, often referred to as the Tin Coast, is home to over 15,000 mine shafts, some reaching half a kilometre straight down and almost an entire mile out to sea. In this video, we'll explore the stories of some of the most famous mines and the lives of the miners that worked there, all whilst exploring what remains of this industry today. So as we approached this mine, there were so many of these kind of funnels just all over the landscape here. I think in fact this must have been a big hub of mining. This is in fact Levant Mine, one of the most successful mines on the Tin Coast due to the massive quantity of copper and tin that were extracted here. It was working for almost 200 years, from 1748 to 1930, and at its peak in 1836 it employed over 500 people. 186 of them were children. There's mushrooms growing on the roof.
Whoa! But they're going upwards.
The treatment of miners is often considered to be quite horrible, really, but that wasn't actually often the case. Miners would have quite often worked on an almost freelance basis, with the mines being divided into sections and miners bidding for their desired spot in the mine. That's not to say it was an easy life, however. Miners' communities would often comprise of close-knit families, therefore it wasn't uncommon for a miner to be working with uncles, fathers, sons, all of whom would be down in the mine together. And even the mothers and daughters would be working up on the surface, breaking up the ores that come up from the mine below. Which way do you want to go? We're going to go to the mine, but we can either go this way to Chapel Porth Beach or this way up the cliff.
No, I think we should go up the cliff.
To put you in mind of an average miner, their day would start with a few mile walk from their village to the mine, followed by a 45-minute climb down the ladders to reach the bottom of the mine, and then maybe even a 1 mile walk down the mine shafts that often reach temperatures of over 28 degrees Celsius, depending on how deep you were working that day. What followed was a strenuous day of non-stop manual labor in dark, humid, and poorly ventilated conditions, before having to spend 1 hour climbing back out of the mine and walking the long road home again. And it was for this reason that many of the miners wouldn't have been expected to live much longer than the age of 40. Life certainly improved for the miners as the years progressed, with less children working in the mines and, in this specific mine, the addition of steam power to assist miners in ascending and descending the mine. This specific mine is actually home to the last working steam winding engine that is still in its original location in the entire world. And it was a surreal experience to see it working with all of its original parts over 180 years later. So, although the miners' lives weren't as bad as you may have first thought, there was still a big divide between the miners and the mine owners. And a prime example of this is Trelissick House, which throughout the 1800s was owned by the Daniel family. And Thomas Daniel was a famously wealthy mine owner. And I think this house shows just how wealthy the owners of these mines could become, and how lavishly they lived at the time. These mines are built into the cliffs because that has always been the best place for mining. The inland rock is much harder, being mostly granite, and the ores on the coast could always be spotted as there would be staining on all the exposed rock. Possibly the most iconic mining buildings in Cornwall are the Crown's engine houses, which are built quite literally in the middle of a cliff. Most of these mining buildings are in a sorry state today, and that comes from the fact that in 1930, after the First World War, the prices of tin fell drastically, causing these mines to quite quickly close down. And of course, it didn't take long for all the precious metals and machinery within the buildings to be salvaged, but they weren't exactly salvaged delicately. In fact, if people couldn't get the machinery out by hand, they would often use dynamite to quite literally blow it out, which is the reason many of the buildings are punched with holes today. It was time to head to our final stop of the video, and this one takes us a little bit further back in time. Almost 2,500 years.
The thing that's so interesting about this site is that it's not just one village that was here. I'm actually right now standing in remains of a house that dated back to what's estimated to be 400 BC. The rest of this village around the 2nd to the 4th centuries AD. And even over there we can see a cottage, the remains of one at least, that was built in the 1750s. So this site, obviously very desirable.
The reason we're in this village is because some historians suggest that the people living here all those years ago could have been mining this very land as well. So even though the mining industry of Cornwall hit its peak in the 1800s, people have been mining this land for centuries, and although all the mines are closed today and many of the mine shafts flooded, there is a glimmer of hope for these old, forgotten mines in the future, as there is an idea that we could utilize the 400 mines of Cornwall to provide us with a continuous and sustainable supply of hot water, as the water sitting down in the mines at this very moment is heated completely naturally. So who knows what these mines have in store for us in the future. So thank you so much for watching this video. It is something a little bit different to what I usually do, being slightly more history focused rather than travel focused. But when we went to Cornwall, we went on a tour of one of the mines, and it was a really in-depth tour. I was just kind of blown away and really wanted to share some of the things that I learned with you. So please do let me know if you enjoyed this video and if you want to see any more of this type of more historical based video, as I really enjoyed making this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you do want to see more from Cornwall, we have quite a few videos that I filmed from this trip, as we spent a week exploring from top to tail of Cornwall. It was absolutely beautiful. We discovered so much, so many hidden gems and interesting locations. If you did enjoy, please do consider leaving a like, maybe subscribing if you want to see more and check out more travels from the UK. I will see you in the next one, and goodbye.